Hey guys, and welcome to another Nomad team game audio commentary. In this particular audio commentary, it is a 3v3 Nomad team game, and in this game I am playing as the Vietnamese, and I'm joined by Soggy Socks on the Incas, and this is probably his second game with the Incas since trying them out on the new patch, and Classic Matters on the Spanish, which is one of the civs that he regularly picks in Nomad style maps. So one of the reasons why I picked Vietnamese for this particular game is they're a very good civ to have if you have a castle dropping civ such as Spanish, because the Vietnamese bonus, well actually the Vietnamese bonus is that you can see the enemy town center starting locations once they're up, which is particularly helpful on maps like Nomad, Land Nomad, African Clearing, etc. And it's particularly helpful for the Spanish player to know where those enemies are so that they can safely collect resources around their town center and do that fast castle and castle drop strategy. That wasn't actually what happened in this particular game. It didn't end up panning out how I expected it to. And it actually ended up being quite an easy game for us. But there's still a few points that I wanted to touch on in this replay. And it's a little bit different again to the other two replays that I've posted. So I thought I'd just do an audio commentary on this one. So my villagers in this one are spawned in an L shape. I've got a villager here in the west corner. I've got a villager down in the southwest corner and a villager that's more sort of in the north, on the north edge of the map. So I'm just going to unpause the replay and put the fog of war on. So I've cycled through my villages and I've decided I'm going to dock in the bottom corner and I'm going to TC sort of along the north edge here. Matters has one of his villages quite close to mine, so we were discussing where our TC locations were going to be. It's really important if you're playing in a Nomad team game and you're on Discord with your teammates to discuss where you're going to put your town centers up, because it's kind of good. It can definitely be good to TC close to an ally, but it can also be bad in the sense that because there's less space between your town centers, you're giving up a percentage of the map that the enemy can take off you, and you can also be fighting over the same resources. So we made sure that we weren't going to go too close, and Matters ended up walking a bit further to go and place his TC. I found a nice one on this hill, and I also found that there's a river in the middle of the map and shallows going across it. So I'm on a nice little peninsula here, and as the Vietnamese, I'm going to know where the enemy town center locations are. I'm just going to pause and take the view lock off here for a second. So with I saw the treaty ring of this enemy town center going up just before I was placing my dock, and I sort of was considering whether I should still place the dock on this shorefish or whether I should move to another shorefish. However, I didn't see one between Matters and my dock, so that means I would have had to have walked this way, and it was going to mean that my dock was delayed and I wasn't going to have the villager collecting the shorefish straight away. And I was also trying to place quick walls to wall my villager in, but because the outline of the treaty ring from the TC is completely covering the edge of my dock, I wasn't able to wall my villager in. And I have to wait until the treaty ends to be able to do that, because you can't build inside this area since they made that change in Nomad team games. One of the things that I forgot to do in this game is to queue one of my villagers from the starting TC to build a house. So I actually muck up my build a little bit in this one. I think it might be because the last Nomad game I played before this, I was playing as Dravidians, and you don't actually need to do that. So little changes like that can throw you off a little bit. So we know where one player is, and then we have one of our other players that's TC'd on the opposite side of the map to us. So because we have an Inca ally, the new team bonus for Incas is that you start with a free llama, which actually makes them quite a good Nomad civ now, because it gives a really nice boost to the team. So if you don't find a starting cow, you've always got that llama to fall back on at the start. So now all the Blue's town center location has gone up, and his town center location is over here. So we know that there's two players that are right across the map from myself and Matters, which is looking quite good for us to sort of do more of a boom to Imperial type strategy, depending on how the game ends up playing out, but it's bad for our ally over here that's all by himself. And then the other town center locations over here. So if you look at when I saw the town centers going up, I was looking at the map and I'm like, okay, so this is going to be interesting. So I have my ally matters is technically closer to Teal's TC location here, but I think that I have probably the safest town center out of everyone in the game, except for maybe Green. Like, that's a pretty safe TC location, apart from being maybe a little bit too close to the shore. So I don't have to worry about early aggression in this game. So I'm going to have like a nice safe economy around my town center. My ally matters as the Spanish. He's found a nice stone, so he doesn't have to worry about it either. And our ally, Soggy Socks, he's going to be the one who's going to have to take the heat for us while we sort of eco up and, boom up into the later stages of the game. So here I forgot to build my starting house, so I quickly rush a couple of villagers over, and I have to queue up Loom after only making one villager from my TC, which is no good. It's not a big deal. Like, some players, if you don't find any food at the start, end up having to do that after a couple of vills, but it does mean that over the course of the game, I'm going to miss out on 100 or so resources. So what I was hoping to do with this villager is, once the treaty was down, I wanted to wall my villager in. I didn't manage to get that quick enough because of I was going to get housed, so I had to build the house and fix my eco at my town center. And unfortunately, Green has he's been attacking my villager. I'm going to have to leave my dock position here. I am, however, collecting wood, and I'm going to be able to get some fish food from it, but I'm not currently getting the shore fish income at the moment. So here I'm running my vill, and he's actually chasing me with a villager, which I don't like. It's not a bad thing to do that, because it possibly means he'll be able to kill me, but I have an ally TC close by, and I was coming to my ally that I was going to run my villager to his TC, and that I wanted him to garrison his town center so that he could shoot the villager chasing me. So I was just microing around the town center, and here, just as I'm microing my villager, I muck up my economy a little bit, and I'm a little bit worried about my food income, because my first fishing ship's only just come out, and I'm not gathering food under my town center, so I really have to watch out for that food income. So I'm just pulling another extra villager off wood to get under that llama, and I've got a little bit of idle town center here at the moment. Not too much, but just a little bit, because I'm focusing on microing my villager, and then I get housed again, so I have to rush up another house. So it's not a very clean start for me, but I was able to get my villager out without it being attacked, and also make sure that I got that sheep there for my ally. So yeah, probably the least smooth start out of the replays I've posted so far, but I guess we've got the starting llama, we've got good town center spots. It's not a huge deal, and I'm not going to be able to double dock the initial location that I wanted to dock at. So I'm moving my villager around the map. I'm going to send it back to my base, but I'm going to do a little bit of exploring first and just see what resources are around the map. And I'm also looking for a new dock location. So I'm currently bringing in deer, which is really nice that it's close to my TC, and I'm going to bring in that boar eventually as well. But I need to get some more villagers on wood, because I want to get some fishing ships out. Now, I had a fairly good idea that, I'm going to take the view lock off again, that Green was going to try and kill my dock somehow. Now, whether he was going to use villagers or militia or send fire ships there in feudal or something like that, I wasn't sure, but I had a feeling that dock location wasn't going to last, and I was going to have to redock somewhere else on the map. Alright, so I've got, I'm queuing up villages, queuing up fishing ships, and I was talking to my ally Matters about how we were going to scout, the directions that we were going to scout, and I was going to go across the shallows and scout sort of that area of the map, and ask him to do the area between him and Teal. So bring in my first boar here. And the idle villager is the villager that I've been moving around. I'm just using that as the house villager for now. There we go. Now, when I actually saw Green committing 5 villagers to attacking my dock, I was actually not unhappy about that, because Green is Burgundians. Burgundians are a slow civilization on Nomad, because as Burgundians, you want to take advantage of their civ bonus of being able to research technologies one age earlier, and that means that he's spending 5 villages worth of gathering time attacking my dock. He's gonna eventually kill it, but he's gonna be losing, like, those 5 villages should be collecting wood at this stage of the game, so he's not gonna be making, that's fishing ships and that he's not going to be making, and it's food that he's not going to be collecting. So him killing my dock doesn't really do any. In fact, it puts him further behind. And if we look at the, if I'm going to pause the game for a second and take it off view lock, so we can actually look at the population here. So currently I'm a villager behind teal because of the idle TC, but green is on 14 villages. So that means that not necessarily just because of attacking my dock, his economy is not doing very good at the moment. And the fact that he's attacking my villager with 5 jocks was a sign that I'm not going to have to really worry about him in the early game. So I'm putting up a lumber camp nice and early here because I know that I'm going to be wanting to get the wood upgrade. Now, Vietnamese get a bonus where economic upgrades cost no wood, so that means that I can research double bid axe in feudal and not have to worry about that wood on the technology cutting into my ship production or my fishing ship production or something like that. So I found a shorefish right close to my TC, and I thought, you know what, I'm just going to dock here. And I'm moving my villager back around to my base, and I'm just going to try and get to feudal as fast as I can. I think I could have gotten there a little bit faster if I had a better start. And then over here I've also scouted a really nice location for a mill. It's close to a boar and a deer patch and berries. Now you have to be careful with placing mills on the shorefish because they are rangeable from the shore. So if you end up doing it too late in Dark Age, you can have like galleys and fire ships attacking your villages, but it's one of those things. It is a good idea to do, but you know, if you do end up having an enemy dock close to your town center location or like the location of where you're milling, it can be a risky play. But I know I know there's no one. I don't think there's anyone nearby, so I took that risk and it actually ended up paying off quite well because there's a lot of food there that I get to take. So the food's coming in nicely now. My feudal time is not going to be the quickest. I actually don't think that I've had a really fast feudal time in any of the replays that I've posted so far. And I'm sending my ships from the south all the way down into the inlet. Another thing that I liked about placing the dock in the river is that it's a really easily defensible position. So when I get to feudal, I'm just gonna sit my galleys in the mouth of the river until I've got a good mass, and then I'm gonna go out and attack teal because I've scouted his dock location down there in the western corner. So now I'm clicking up to feudal. I've got a lot of villages, or I've got a lot of villages on food at the moment because I've got the mill location there. I've got 2 villages on shorefish, which sort of helped me click up a bit faster. And now I'm pulling some of those villages to wood because I want to get that wood in and start massing galleys in feudal. Initially, our player that was Incas was going to be going water this game, but because his town center location was in between all the enemies, it made more sense for me to do it because I wasn't going to be getting my production interrupted by raids or something like that. And I think on the other side of the map, I'm just going to take the view lock off for a second. It's a little bit of a walling battle here. So Teal had come into place of barracks, and then my ally Soggy Socks attacked his villages and made him go back, and he's walling up here now. That was actually quite a good play, because if that player had gotten his barracks up there, he may have made man-at-arms or something like that in Feudal Age, and that doesn't actually end up happening in this game. Just going to go back to my view lock. So I'm looking to make a third dock. So I've got my 2 docks up, and I'm going to make a third one on the other side of the river because there's that's the closest location of the next shorefish, and it also means that I'm close to that deep fish there. I'm sure the fishing ships can drop off at the closer dock. So now I'm up. I'm queuing up double bid axe straight away, and I'm queuing up double dock galleys, and I'm gonna. In one of the earlier replays that I posted, I probably sent my ships a bit too early before I had like a mass of ships. and I wasn't able to get any fishing ship kills, and that's something that I sort of realised that I did wrong in that replay, and that's something that I didn't do in my second replay that I posted, and that I don't do in this game either. And one thing I just noticed then is that my allies' fishing ships were coming down to my dock. Now the reason that happened is, I'm just going to take the view lock off again, is that he recently just scouted with a fishing ship down here, but his fishing ships would have run out of the fish here before he scouted that location, and then the next closest fish that they could see was here because it's in my vision. So they've come all the way around here until I told him about them, and so that's something you have to be really careful about, is that when you deep fish is low, you've got to send a fishing ship around to scout to find the next locations. Otherwise they will do stupid things like that. Like if there's no shore fish in sight and you're playing in a team game, they'll sail all the way around the other side of the map to start fishing from the deep fish that they can actually see. So I've got some galleys coming out now. No sign of enemy ships yet from my allies' perspective. Just going to speed up the game a little bit. This bit's quite quiet. And sorry, I didn't put the view lock back on. So I'm queuing up Town Watch again, which I think is an important upgrade to get. Probably didn't really need to get it because I know where the enemies are, and I know that I'm most likely not going to be attacked by anyone. But it is also helpful for that little bit of extra sight on the dock as well. And because my food income is so good at the moment from having that mill location, I'm just going to end up going to Castle Age probably quite a bit quicker than I end up going up in the other games that I posted, because there hasn't really been any aggression from anyone yet. Alright, so my galleys have gone into Teal's dock location, and I've spotted a lot of fishing ships, so this is going to be a really nice cleanup from me. No fire ships in sight, so this is pretty much just free kills. Got housed again. And yeah, beautiful. So there's so many fishing ships here, and this is going to really hurt Teal's Castle Age economy. So he's the highest scored player on their team at the moment. This is going to hit him really hard. And again, because I got 5 galleys, he's just decided to let his fish go. Like, he hasn't committed to feudal navy at all. And this is what a lot of players do, but I don't think it's wise to make this many fishing ships if you're going to do that, because it's like a big loss. Whereas if you only make a few, then, you know, losing 5 or 6 fishing ships, they've already paid them back. I don't know if it's worth to make that many and then lose them. So now I'm clicking up to Castle Age. I'm actually going to arrive probably only a minute faster than maybe my last game. I think, you know, the 2 replays that I posted, I've sort of arrived to Castle Age in the early 20 minutes, which is I guess that's fine for the player playing water. You do like to be up a bit quicker if you're playing land, and Teal is the first player up. In spite of me killing his fish, the fishing ships had brought in enough food to get him up to Castle Age, but he's not going to have the food continuously rolling in, which is going to hurt his villager and army production, if there is any. So I'm grabbing the gold mining upgrade on the way up, because I'm going to be making feudal navy, and that means that I'll be able to make military units with less villagers on gold in Castle Age. And I decided to pull away from Teal's docks because I think I killed like 12 or 13 fishing ships, and he wasn't fighting back at all. So that's quite a good hit. And I thought, it's rather than just sit there and take down those docks, it's probably better to go and hit the other players' fishing ships as well to slow them down, rather than just continuously hit him, because you don't want the Burgundians with like 15 fishing ships with gill nets or something collecting food on this map. That didn't actually turn out to be the case, but you know, if they were fish booming, I think that was the right call. And I had my ally just send his 2 fire ships down here just in case, you know, there was still a few fishing ships around for Teal. So I'm just going to speed up the replay a little bit again. Okay, so I hit Castle Age, continuing to make houses, queue up the villagers, and I get gill nets straight away because I've got a lot of fishing ships, and I know that I'm gonna my fishing ships are not in danger, and I want to get the food in for Imperial Age, so I get that upgrade straight away. I also got bow saw straight away, which I like to do, and I'm getting bodkin arrow as well, which adds an extra range and damage on my galleys, which would be good for, you know, if I'm going to be fighting on water. And I'm going to be making Rattan archers later on as Vietnamese. So Rattan archers, the unique unit for Vietnamese, they're okay in Castle Age, but they're quite a nice Imperial Age unit. In Castle Age, they have one less range than a crossbowman, and they get that extra range in Imperial. They're quite tanky archer units. They're pretty good because they've got 7+4 against cavalry units as well. Like, you know, obviously you don't want to be having your Rattan archers as the front line while paladins are charging at you, but they can actually take them down a lot faster than Arbalest can, for instance. So Teal has tried to dock the other side of the map, and I catch his villager off guard, kill the villager with the galleys, and I'm just going to end up taking that dock down and then continuing around the outside of the map, getting up an archer range because I know I need to get the thumb ring upgrade from there eventually. I'm not going to be probably making anything from the range because I know that I want to go into Rattan archers against the players, the opponents that I'm up against. Malians, Rattan archers will be good against all of their units. Their skirmishers don't get bracer. Burgundians are probably going to be going into Courtier or Cavaliers, so Rattan archers is a good choice against them. And again, got a Vietnamese mirror. They're probably going to be making them as well. So it's just a matter of trying to out Vietnamese the Vietnamese player. Continuing to make docks, getting the stone mining upgrade because I want to be getting a few castles up as Vietnamese. And I've gone 2 town centers. I haven't added the third one yet because I want to be getting that castle up to go to Imperial Age. I've got quite a few fishing ships, and making the third town center earlier slows down my castle, and I'm going to be using my castle as the building that I need to go up to Imperial Age. And so far in this game, I haven't seen any aggression from like either of the players. I did end up walling the crossing. If I take the view lock off again, stonewalled this crossing so that, you know, if I was going to get scouts or something coming through here, they couldn't get through. Now, the Malian player has actually made a scout and tried to come through, and he hasn't been able to. And he ends up attacking my fishing ship. So I end up queuing a galleon just sitting it on the crossing. And I'm just starting to get the archer upgrades. I'm floating a lot of gold because I haven't had to replace any of my ships yet, and I can use that gold to buy some food to improve my Imperial Age time. Another thing that I did, which I missed on the replay, is I sent one of my galleys into the inlet here, and I killed a villager on Teal's farming and forced him to make a castle here because I think he was worried about his farming eco being ranged from the shore. It is a good castle location anyway, but it seemed like a knee-jerk reaction to that particular galley. I think I missed that when I was talking about something else. Getting up the university because I want to get ballistics. And I sent a villager down to the south. I'm just using it as a house villager. But in the event that, you know, the game does get a bit messy, I can make military buildings over here and then start sending them down this way. So I'm coming forward from my castle now. My allies starting to make conquistadors, and we are going to be. I'm going to be in Imperial Age, you know, in a couple of minutes, and we're going to be hitting Teal with Trebs. And I think my ally has been raided a little bit by Blue. I just take the view lock off. He was commenting that there was Rattan archers in his base, and I was just like, "Yep, just hold. You know, we're going. I'm going to be in Imperial soon. We're going to be pushing because we've got to get through Teal to get to him." Unless we come around here, I suppose. But we don't know what's in this part of the map, so I thought we'd just hit Teal, me and Matters, and then we'll get to our ally once we've taken Teal out, or, you know, we can get through his base. So I think I'll end up buying a little bit of food here. Again, like, I've got a really good fishing eco going. Just gonna take view lock off again. So it's 7, 8. 5, 13 fishing ships, which is not too bad. I probably could have added a few more, but yeah, that's a good number with gill nets. And yeah, I've nearly got 100 population. I'm going up to Imperial Age. I've got 2 town center. I've got the 3rd town center rolling now. I built that after my castle. And I'm, you know, almost 1,000 points ahead of the next player, which is Teal. I killed his fishing economy, so, you know, my eco is going to be way better than his. Going up to Imperial Age, getting ballistics, and I'm just going to start getting the upgrades for the Rattan archers and start pumping those out. And again, I want to be making trebuchets immediately once I get into Imperial, and be trebbing down Teal's castle that he made on the shore there. And Rattan archers are a wood and gold unit, so I think I ended up just leaving 40 villages on food. It was probably too many, but at least it helps me get the upgrades fast once I get to Imperial. And then I just end up adding extra villages to wood and gold after this stage. Coming forward to place a 2nd castle, I just wanted to micro those villages around the back of the tree line so that Teal didn't see my villages going there. And now matters, if I take the view lock off, is hitting Teal's eco and stopping a castle over here, which is good. That's what we want to be doing as Spanish. Matters probably plays Spanish a little bit conservatively sometimes, but you know, in this particular game, I think it suited his style to sort of take it a bit slower. I'm just going to fast forward this a little bit again. Alright, so I'm in Imperial Age. Cancelled a couple of Rattan archers to get my trebuchet immediately out of that. Queue up Bracer and Chemistry first to get the extra attack damage and range. And I've still got villagers coming out of the town centre, or the town centres. I'm going to be getting some more eco upgrades as well. I think it's definitely worth getting the 2-man saw upgrade if you're making archer units. So I've got 1 trebuchet out, got the 2nd one coming out, still queuing up Rattan archers. Matters is scooping around the side of Teal, keeping him boxed in. And again, I haven't seen any military from the other team. I think hitting Teal's fishing eco slowed down his food income. So like he was trying to probably do a free boom kind of style. And because he lost all his fishing ships, I'm way ahead of him in eco. So he's still trying to like get the villagers to get to Imperial. But, you know, I'm there first and I'm trebbing him down now. So I've made a few Gebettos there, but you know, I've got the full upgrades on my Rattan archers pretty much, so they don't even get a shot off. So yeah, I've got around 40 villages on wood and food, and I'm going to be adding more villages to gold. Gold's the main strain on my production at the moment. Apart from the amount of castles that I have, I want to be making a few more castles as we continue this push. I just want to take this castle down before we go in. And then green ended up making some reactionary fire ships to my few war galleys that were just patrolling around the shore, which I thought was quite funny because, you know, that means that he's spending those resources on ships that aren't really going to do anything. I didn't end up making a few fire ships in response to that, just in case he was going to send them around into my fishing eco, because I don't want to lose my fishing ships. I'm getting the elite Rattan upgraded. I'm getting fortified wall just in case they try and hit me from across the shallows on the other side of my map. And then again, like, Teal's got nothing. Like, he didn't make any military, which I think was a bit of a mistake. Maybe he's new to playing Malians, but he put up absolutely no resistance, and we're just going through and mopping the floor with him at this stage. 2 players against 1. He's running his villages. He's got absolutely no response. And again, he's still in Castle Age. We're just seeing the players on the other side get to Imperial now. I'm just going to take the view lock off and let's have a look at what's happening. So my ally here, who is in the middle of the 3 players, is getting dunked on by blue and green, and he's losing at the moment, but you know, we've got all this stuff coming to save him. We just need to knock Teal out first before we get to him. I'm starting to float quite a lot of food at the moment. I'm not making any food units, so I end up sending some of that food to my allies a few minutes later. Yeah, a few more trebs. And Teal has a lot of castles, but he's just not making any military units. And he's trying to trying to relocate his eco and keep, and I don't know, maybe, I don't know what he's trying to do, but he was pretty out of it at this point. Like, he just had to kill the defensive structures in his base, and then we were right. Matters has had good luck at finding Teal's villagers in the midst of building castles in this game. But he gets that one up, but he's got a lot of villager kills from that. Excuse me. I'm just going to fast forward this a little bit again because yeah, we're just pushing through Teal's base. So I'm getting the paper money upgrade. Probably doesn't end up paying itself off in this game, but I thought, you know, the game's going to go for another 20 minutes, I may as well get it. Fast forwarding again and again. Rattan archers are really good units for diving under town centres, particularly elite Rattan archers. Got 10 pierce armour, so town centre arrows only do 1 damage, so you can send them under the town centre to kill villagers with, no worries at all. I don't even think Teal's bothering to garrison at this stage. Coming forward and building some more castles, taking the position on the map. And now we're going to start contesting Little Green's armies a bit further in the south. They're doing some pretty good damage to Soggy Socks there, but yeah, in a few minutes I'm pretty confident we're going to steamroll through them. Not too worried about Cavaliers when I've got this many Rattan archers, and then my allies got heaps of conks as well. Teal migrating his villagers down the south. Just want to make sure I've cleared up all the castles and town centres with these trebs. And there we go, just preparing for the engagement. That's where I start sending the resources to my allies because I don't need food at this stage. I'm not going to be really spending it. And I think when I saw the amount of Rattan archers that Blue had, I'm like, oh, maybe I'll take into... Because Rattan archers, they do 11 damage and they've got 10 pierce armor. So it's really funny when they're fighting each other because they only do 1 damage. So this looks really silly. Like, it's like I'm shooting all these arrows and I'm not actually doing any damage. So I ended up taking elite skirmisher at the archery range just in case I needed to switch. And I realised I forgot the button ring. It's like, whoop, that's a bit silly. So I queued that up after elite skirmisher. Even though my ally, Soggy Socks, is getting dunked on, at least he's still got some military and he's contributing to the fight. So he's got a bunch of pikemen and eagle warriors there. Catching Teal, trying to build Fort Town Centre. I had a bit of a look at some of the enemy team's replays in this game, and Blue, who's playing the Vietnamese player on the opposite team, he didn't make a dock, and that's probably the reason why I'm 4,000 points ahead of him in score. You really have to make a dock on Nomad because you just miss out on so much economy. I know there's a few players in our group that were resistant to the Nomad, like playing the Nomad start how, like, the established meta is, but after not doing so well on Nomad for a while, they started to sort of, yeah, maybe I will actually practice, the start of building a dock with one builder, and now they're much better Nomad players for it. So yeah, at the moment I've got 200 pop, 4 castle Rattan archer production, completely pop capped at the moment. I've got a bunch of trebuchets, and I'm just going to fix my idols, keep moving forward, keep my mining gold, and making more castles as I progress. So Teal's now migrated way over into the west corner. It's just a matter of slowly pushing them back here with the trebuchets. Yeah, 4,000 points ahead of the other Vietnamese player, and he's the highest score in the team. I'm completely not worried about this at this point. We've got it in the bag. It's just a matter of, just clearing up these final units and castles, and then we're all good. Again, it looks so stupid. I've got 51 Rattan archers there. It takes that long to kill a single one of the other players' Rattans. Yeah, Matt is doing some raiding. And this was a good decision by Blue to start going for the siege, because a couple of onager shots will completely clear up all the archers that I've got. I was just asking Matters and Croker to help me kill the onagers while I micro my archers. Onager tech's coming now. You know, my micro in this situation could have been a little bit better, but you know, we were so far ahead, I wasn't too worried about it. I was just like, yeah, whatever. And I was just asking my allies to help me take down the onagers so I could shred push the castles. So I'm gonna get that one with my Rattans. Go for the siege workshop first. Castle now. Yeah, this looks so silly. Yeah, so at this stage, I'm just going to pause the game and take a look at the eco. So, when you're in Imperial Age and you're going towards 200 pop, with most civs you want to have between 120 to 140 villages. There's some civilizations that you can get away with less. Byzantines is one, maybe Britons. Units that have, and Incas, you can probably get away with less. Incas, Poles is another one. You can have 100, low 100s, because if you're going like the cheap knights or the cheap cavaliers, you don't have to spend as much on the resources. But if you're going for like paladins or something, you probably want 130, 140. I probably got too many villages and fishing ships on food here, and currently I'm not bringing in any gold because I've got 32 idle villages. But looking at the other team's eco, like Blue's only got 57 vills at this point. He's lost a lot because he's been raided over here. I think he ended up only getting to 71. And yeah, again, he ended up not making a dock. Really not a good idea to do that. Green's also capped out at 75. Again, this is a sign of players getting to Imperial Age and then forgetting to continue to make villages. You just can't produce enough army on this number. You really need to have that sort of 100, like even 100 is not enough a lot of the time. You really need to sort of have that 120. Game's almost over here, just this one final battle. End up copying a couple of nasty onager shots there, and I think I was asking Mattis to come around with his conks just to help me deal with this. Here it comes now. So that castle's down, and now we're just going to take out the units. I think there was an earlier fight, was it this one, where Matters was not microing his conks and ended up losing a big ball of them. Yeah, might have, I think it was earlier than this. He was fixing his eco. One last onager to take down. Matters ends up dealing with that. And there we go. So Blue's resigned. Teal resigns shortly after, and then Green doesn't end up resigning for a little while. He makes us sort of chase him to the west. I'm just going to stop the replay here. Yeah, so this is like, if you get TC locations like this where you're like right across the other side and you've got a player over here. If your player that's in this spot can hold, it allows you to just do a straight free boom to Imperial. And in this particular situation, if I was here and the other two players were there, the game might have been a bit harder, depending on... Well, actually, no. If these players were put more pressure on Croker, the game might have been a bit different. Like, we might have had to send Castle Age Army in to help him. But because the game, like, there wasn't really much fighting until, like, late Castle Age, it just gave us so much time to boom up and get to Imperial. So it's probably a good thing for Matters that he wasn't in that spot, because I think, if he was there, he would have struggled a little bit more. And again, Croker's quite good at, staying alive when he's playing Nomad. Like he can be, under the pump. He's not going to, he mightn't have the best time, but he's not going to fold under the pressure. And that just gave me and Matters a really nice, easy game to just boom up to Imperial. Thanks for watching, guys, and I've got maybe another replay that I might post this week, but otherwise, if I get I want to try and get a Nomad game that's a bit scrappier, and most of the games that I've had recently have been quite breezy, so if I get something that's a little bit more exciting, I'll post that next.